Being alive in the 21st century means that hearing and learning about climate change is an inevitable part of your life. We are living through the Holocene extinction, the sixth mass extinction to take place on Earth. As humans, we tend to think of ourselves differently than we think of animals, but despite this mindset, we are still animals. Animals that will be affected by our own contributions to the environmental collapse underway. But specifically, who or what is responsible for these changes, and how will we be affected? This video will be discussing how American individuals will be affected by business and environmental changes caused by man-made climate change. Greenhouse gas emissions are the number one cause of climate change. When you look closely at who or what is the biggest contributor, gas and oil companies take the lead, with deforestation following in a close second. Unfortunately, with the way humans have adapted to everyday lifestyle since the Industrial Revolution, petroleum has become a big part of our everyday lives. But what exactly do greenhouse gases affect? Well, it is noticeable that the average temperature of the Earth has risen, as it can be felt by anyone, especially in the Northern Hemisphere. And this simple change can have disastrous effects on human livelihoods. Specifically, the US's estimated warming trends are higher than that of the rest of the globe. This in turn can severely damage the agricultural community. The US is the world's primary producer of corn, the largest producer of wheat, the 5th largest of potatoes, the 10th largest of sugarcane, and the 12th largest of rice. Severe damage to its agricultural system means not only national but worldwide chaos. Reduced crop production can lead to devastating effects, including hunger crisis and malnutrition, even in developed nations, as well as armed conflicts over dwindling supplies of natural resources. At a smaller level, climate change can be seen contributing to the rise in global food prices. Aside from foods, the rising temperatures can lead to rising sea levels that threaten such states like Florida, and have been warned about the possibility of property value plummeting due to the threat of rising seas. Ever prevalent to today's society, climate change can lead to a severely damaged health system, allied with worsening malnutrition and poverty, which could provide a milieu for a devastating epidemic, or worsen one that is already occurring. So who is going to do something about this? While nations have met in Paris and come up with the 2015 climate change agreement, governments likely aren't going to do much. Notably in America, only a handful of Republican members of the House of Representatives out of a caucus of 197 have endorsed the basic concept of a carbon tax. Many ask whether or not a capitalistic society can even do anything about these increasing carbon emissions. Corporations certainly won't do much, and one article even went as far as to call them psychopathic, claiming the psychopath is calm, calculated, scrupulous, and that coercion must be the remedy, exerted economically, politically, and morally, preferably all at once. The psychopath respects only force. One real-life example that can be seen in the media is the tale of the DuPont Chemical Company, exclaimed by the 2020 movie Dark Waters, that knew its chemicals were poisoning the town of Parkersburg, West Virginia, which its supply ran through. Most of that town suffered medical conditions to the high concentration of PFAS. Today we know that PFAS runs through 99% of the American public's bloodstream due to companies like DuPont. Another contribution to the world's carbon footprint, the United States military. It is by far one of the largest contributors, especially with an ongoing and perhaps unnecessary battle forever waging in the Middle East. When nation-states begin to understand that we can in fact defend ourselves without massive arsenals, huge armadas, armies of tanks and Hummers, and without war jets and bombers, we will see a dramatic reduction of the carbon footprint in the nation after nation, most importantly, the United States. On the brighter side of things, what solutions are being worked on? Well, companies like Unilever intend to help reduce the environmental impact of climate change worldwide. Certain departments of Unilever have already proven amazing results and given a positive outlook on the situation, while others still lack the numbers. Unilever focuses on big business and uses economics to convince them to change their ways via stakeholder importance and short-term impact. So they created a materiality matrix that can help us understand this meaning. Hope remains for the seriousness of climate change to be reduced. For Americans, this means that both the individual, with cars, and larger corporations, who have the largest carbon footprint, need to do their part, or else our well-being is in danger. Having architecture that is better for the environment and won't be left to waste, like old nuclear power plants for example, is just one of many moves in the right direction against the threat of climate change. Although there are currently many irreversible effects of man-made climate change, there is still a lot of hope. But as the most populated and powerful species on the planet, it is important to hold yourself accountable by doing what you can to live more sustainably.